Hey folks, my name is Rene Enriquez and you are watching Uncensored.
This is Rene Enriquez. Nickname Bootser. Black Hand of the Mexican Mafia. Prison gang politics.
Hey folks, my name is Rene Enriquez and you are watching Uncensored. Well, we're back at it. Another episode of being made. This is so for all the people who are just joining the channel. If you've never seen one of these episodes before, this is how we made the Black Hand, the biography about my life and my experiences in the Mexican Mafia. And it involves myself, Chris Blatchford, and Richard Valdemar. Chris Blatchford was from Fox News. Richard Valdemar was a member of the Los Angeles Metropolitan Task Force on Violent Crime. And we sat in a room in Walnut, California, and did a series of interviews. And we recorded them. We also did a bunch of normal calls, which Chris would record. And I had a cassette recorder, an old cassette recorder. You know, the one you press play and record at the same time. I recorded a lot of the book on that. I'm going to look for those audio recordings. But I'm not sure if I have access to them. I do have a lot of other ones that pertain to the book as well. So there's going to be a whole lot. We have a whole lot of material to run on this. But I think these are interesting because I could tell you what's going through my head here. And I stop periodically to tell you what's going on. And it's been a while since we've done one. So I'd like to start where we left off. I think this is where we left off. I'm doing them in sequential order as the editor is converting the VHS tapes, because these are old VHS tapes, right? And the camera was about that big that he brought in. One of those old VHSs. It was as big as a bus, right? Now it's on your phone. These are the ones that took the big cartridges, and it was just kind of this antiquated stuff. And the quality of the video is really bad. Look at it. It's really grainy. It reflects sign of the times, right? And this was back quite a while ago. So let's run the video and let's unpack that as we go along. At that point, we had already talked to Black Dan. We'd already talked to a couple of people about organizing white fence and taking over. So we started taking down connections again there, all throughout Southern California. We kept up the same thing.
Now, why White Fence? Why were you situated there? I mean, didn't they go, well, he's from Artesia?
My whole family lived there. My mother owned a house there. My grandmother owned a house there. Little Mo knew my family.
So they'd moved up there from Cerritos or where?
Well, my family had always lived in White Fence. My grandmother lived there. My aunt. So we're talking about here why I was in White Fence, right? And I remember talking to Black Dan about it. I remember talking to Little Mo, but I met Mo in Old Folsom, and I told him, when we get out together, we're going to take over White Fence. And he was down. He said, yeah, let's do it. Little Mo was my buddy, right? He was my buddy. So I remember specifically one day I'm driving to White Fence. I just got out and I'm pulling around the corner. And who do I see on the corner of Camulos and Oregon? Little Mo Ruiz. His mom lived right on the corner of those big apartments right there. Well, they're actually houses, like a bifurcated house. It's cut right in half, and they made 2 units out of it. But I pull up, and I talk to him, and I told him, hey, you want to do this? He says, yeah, let's do it. At the time, he was working with Little George from Venice, and he told me that. He says, hey, I'm dealing for product for Little George from Venice, but we had discussed this years before. And I told him, hey, my brother's from White Fence, and my grandma lives there, and my nephew lives there, my whole family lives there. I never realized that my mom was going to move there after the divorce. She divorced my father. But she did. She did. And my mom ended up playing a significant role there. When my grandmother died, my mother inherited the house. So we just had a family. And my brother was from White Fence, actually. He was an older guy. He's in his 50s. He's not a gang member anymore. When in his youth, he was a gang member from White Fence, the Cherries. And that's an old clique, huh?
That's a heavy clique.
Yeah. Well, this is way back when. Back in the 60s, he was involved in this. But I just had ties.
That's almost like a fortress.
Yeah.
That area.
That little area, that's how
a
close
safe
it is.
place to go hide.
We had full control of that area. We started dealing narcotics there. We took over all the connections.
We'd rob all the connections, so we were basically the only seller in the area because we robbed everybody else. Everybody else was scared. People would literally run when they seen our car coming. When me and Jack were over in the car, we had a black, some black car. We extorted it off some connection and we put it in our name. I forgot what kind of car it was. A black sedan. And when they see our car coming, we could see them down the street take off running.
These are dealers.
Drug dealers.
Yeah.
They would take off running because they knew that we're coming down, we had guns, and we were going to use them. Because we would shoot people, we would stab people, we do brutal things right in broad daylight. We didn't care who's seen. We were out there to enforce.
You know, that was the crazy thing. It was like I didn't even care. And then I was all hopped up, right? I was using drugs at the time, so I didn't have no common sense. I mean, common sense wasn't so common with me at the time. And this brings us to that story where people ask periodically, hey, there's a story out there that White Benz was going to whack you out and take the green light. And, I stories are easy to tell, right? Everybody's got one. And it's years later. Yeah, my cousin and friend, his sister's boyfriend's uncle's brother told me that, they were going to whack that guy, right? But if that was the case, why didn't they do it, right? Not that there's not, real gunners in that hood, because there are in every hood, right? But I was there. I was there for plenty of time and plenty of opportunity. I wasn't hiding. I was driving to the hood, just plain as day, by myself sometimes, most of the time. And other times I'm with the crew. But they knew we were with the business. We were really with the business. We're not, we weren't paper gangsters or paper tigers, right? We were really gangsters. We were putting it down out there. We were leaving bodies on a regular basis. So, and I don't say that in braggadocio. So for those people who talk that crap, you brag about it. You do. No, this is reality. This is fact. And it's not me bragging about it because I'm not proud of what I did. Some of the things I don't regret, but most of it I do. And I'm not bragging about it. So miss me with the BS, bragging about it and glorifying it and missing it. And I miss none of that. I made the best decision in my life leaving the organization. So when I hear people say that, it irks me. It irks me to hear people say, oh, you still miss the life. You still glorify the life. You know what? I'm doing better than I ever have in my life. Leaving the organization was the best thing I ever did in my life. I'm free. I'm at peace. I'm happy. And I don't have to hurt people no more. Well, how much more at peace could you be than to have something like that? So when I hear those comments, it's from ignorant Fs that they don't know. If you don't know, you don't know. If you know, you know. And I don't have too many friends at all. I never have. There's always been a couple of people, right? And when I was in SNY, I was always just one guy. Because friends are hard to find. And you can't trust people nowadays. But those people who know me best know who I am. And I'm not here rationalizing, explaining myself. I don't feel the need to do that for anybody. I truly don't, But that story about White Fence, yeah, I've heard it a couple times. I think it's BS, right? Some guys acting tough after they're in SNY already. Yeah, we're going to whack him. If they were going to whack me, then they should have did it, right? Because that's the easy part, talking about it. And it never materialized. And so if it really was a thing, I'm glad it didn't happen. I'm glad they didn't whack me. But they would have been in for a real gun battle because we were seriously armed. They would have been in that. And I don't think they would have walked away either. So, that's what I say about that. Let's hear the video. I went on a rant. I'm sorry. I'm ranting.
And everybody knew. Boxer was a carnal, and Jack and Mo were his muscle guys. So,
Therefore untouchable.
yeah.
Give me an example of what you do when you got out. I mean, and you were trying to establish that presence again.
Oh, wow.
Can you remember an incident? It was sort of the kickoff incident that here we're back and we're taking over this neighborhood. We're taking over White Fence. Did you pick a guy specifically, or did something just happen? Or?
I remember we went to a place in Lincoln Heights, and we're going over. These are paisano drug dealers, and somebody had went and previously tried to extort them. Told them, the carnales want you to kick down, and they didn't want to cooperate. I said, no, Nel was the word they used, Nel. that favorite word that you So it's all right. We're coming back. So we went back with a crew. Me, Chino from White Fence, later testified against me. Mole from White Fence. Two Mexican Mafia members who are dead. Carlos Morales and CB, Charlie Brown Enriquez. We went down there. Had a M1 carbine. A couple of other guys had handguns. It was a pretty nice rifle. Pistol grip, AR-15 style with the little fold-out stock, 30 caliber. So we go in the house, we kick in the doors. We're gonna teach them a lesson. We go in there, we trash the place, and there's one guy. I start telling him, "Somos mafiosos. Ustedes tienen que pagar. You guys have to pay." And he's saying no. So I start jabbing him with the barrel of the gun, and it has a flash reducer on the tip of the barrel, and it's pretty sharp. So it started taking off like little chunks of his head. When we got done with him, he was pretty thrashed, because after I got done with him, they took off on him. So he was left pretty badly. And we didn't get much from the house. I think we got, a little bit of narcotics, but the message was sent.
I remember that specifically. Charlie Brown Enriquez, that's the guy who everybody claims was killed, who everybody claims was eliminated for participating as a technical advisor in the American Me movie. He was living in the street as a hobo, right? And I've told you this story before. He was a hobo, stealing car batteries and stealing boxes of bananas, and collecting bottles and stuff, like low street urchin stuff, right? And I don't look down on anybody for hustling, right? But he wasn't hustling; he was stealing, right? And he was just doing such petty stuff. Then I told him, I says, "Hey, bro, come and hustle with me. At the very least, we can kick in some doors, and I'll put you on your feet. We'll give you some money." And every time I saw CB, I would give him money and I would give him product. And just here. And you couldn't trust him with too much, because he would do it all. So I give him 5 or 10 what we called spoons. And I give him $100, $50, whatever I had in my pocket, right? Whatever chump change I had in my pocket, I would give it to him. So I said, "Man, you got to come hustling. You got to earn yours." So he comes with us. Carlos Lomitas was down. He was down with me, right? That's the guy you've seen in the hotel video. So I took those guys with me. And I took Mo and Jack and this guy Chino, who ended up flipping on me. But I remember that specifically. I remember that event specifically. And it was pretty hairy, because there's a little house way in the back of a parking lot that the Paisas dominated, right? So it was kind of precarious for us to do it. So we went heavily armed.
Another time, we went to these two people on 8th Street in White Fence. These are homeboys of Mo. They were older homeboys from White Fence. They were dealing narcotics. And they had some guns that we wanted. And we're just making our presence felt. Whatever we wanted, we took. And if we couldn't took it, we inflicted injury. We go there to take them. They have 45s. And we want to go over there and buy them at first. But they don't want to.
Yeah, they had Model 911s. And we wanted them.
To sell, so I'm telling them, "Well, we're going to take them then." And then it turns out they don't have any guns. They're just lying. I guess they're putting out this message so that we're scared of them or something. We have guns. We're over there with real guns. We have we're seriously armed individuals. So we'll use the weapons. So this is one guy by a couch. I forgot his name. He keeps reaching under the cushion, and I point a gun at him and said, "Look, do not move anymore. Do not put your hand under the cushion." And I tell Gilbert, "Look under the cushion." Gilbert has a fillet knife. You ever see those fishing fillet knives? Mm-hmm.
Just an FYI, Gilbert is Gilbert Ruiz. That's little Mo. That's my little buddy I take with me everywhere, right? And he's got this big old fillet knife. It's huge. It's razor sharp too, right? And the craziest thing, I'm gonna let you watch the video.
Big, long, notoriously sharp. Mm-hmm. I turn around for a second, and I turn back around, and this guy has a knife through him. Mo just ran him all the way through. For no reason at all. Just no reason, just ran him through. And I look at Mo, and
Yeah, no reason. Mo just ran him all the way through. And the thing is, the knife was so big, I could see the handle and like 3 or 4 inches sticking out of the guy's back, right? And the guy's going, "Oh, oh." And I look at Mo, and he pulls the knife out, and he hides it behind his back. And I said, "What did you do?" He said, "Nothing." like a little kid got caught. And I said, "What did you do?" And he looked guilty, like he lost it for a second. Like he literally blanked out and just lost it, right? And I saw another side of him at that point. I said, "This guy's a little bit homicidal right here." I mean, we all were, but this is unpredictable homicidal, right? He was a little bit unpredictable and a little unstable because the guy didn't have that coming. That wasn't the plan to do that. So it kind of shocked me when he did it.
And it was weird because Mo was trying to hide the knife from me. He pulled the knife out, and his hands were all bloody. He was trying to hide the knife from me like he was a scared kid. His eyes were all big, like this. And I'm saying, "What did you do?" He says, "I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing." And I'm looking at the guy. He's laying on the ground, squirming his own blood, stabbed through and through. And you can even see some little, I think it's the visceral stuff that's sticking out of the hole.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at him and saying, "Wow, you stabbed that guy for nothing." He says, "I didn't do nothing." He just kept insisting all the way through. And to this day, Gilbert says he didn't do nothing. He won't admit it.
I swear, I did it again in the county. When we were in the county jail, I said, "Hey, why did you whack that guy?" He said, "I didn't do nothing." He just never would admit it. It's the funniest, craziest thing that I know about Mo. That he would not admit it, and we got a kick out of it later. You know, we would joke about it. Me, him, and Jocko would joke about
He
it.
won't admit it. I said, "Gil, you stabbed that guy." He said, "No, I didn't. No, I didn't." I think he went a little haywire.
Yeah.
Went a little haywire and just went off.
Yeah.
You know, so I get everybody, said, "Let's go, let's go, let's go." And we
This
left.
guy was a dealer.
This guy was a drug dealer. He actually had guns that we wanted to go buy, and we found out he didn't have guns, and we were going to take them. Well, then we found out he didn't have guns, and then he did some stupid thing around Mo and got stabbed. But these are the things we did on a normal basis. We go rob people, kick in their doors, and we tie them up, duct tape them, beat them a little bit, tell them who we were. We told them, "Hey, I'm so-and-so from the Mexican Mafia. If you come looking for us, we're going to kill you. We're going to hound you. We want you to know we're here. You know, ustedes tienen que pagar. You have to pay. You guys have to pay." And those are just two examples of some of the things we've done.
How many guys did you think you had to do that to before you established yourself?
Oh,
again?
man. Every connection in White Fence, Puente, Azusa. At one house in Azusa, we robbed this guy named Nico. They went in. I gave him the cars and the guns. Well, this guy's a huge connection. And as they're robbing the place, people are coming up. So as people are coming up, they have to duct tape these people and take them hostage. So by the end of the robbery, there's like 30 people in the living room, all duct taped.
This was the top of all buffoonery robberies, right? So they're hitting the connection. I send the crew over there. I give them the guns. I give them everything, cars, all that. We organize it, and boom, they go. But when they're robbing the guy, this guy Nico, customers are coming to the door. So they tell me, "Yeah, come on in." And boom, they take him to the kitchen and the living room. They had all the rooms filled with people, duct taped and tied up. It was just an ongoing thing, kind of like a comedy almost.
All users and people that are buying large amounts, they're little petty dealers. They're all trussed up and taped up. About 30 people. 30 people. It's ridiculous. A whole house full of people.
Yeah.
It got to the point where they had to leave because they couldn't control it anymore. There's so many people coming over to score from this guy. So they just had to leave. But we did maybe about 30 robberies. And then they knew, everybody knew. These guys are back, they're robbing, they'll take you down. These are mafiosos. We took cars, we took everything of value.
And over how short a period of time was that? A year? Or
Oh man, no, not even.
not even?
This is an everyday thing.
Yeah.
The first 5 months, towards the end, we were doing the robberies. We did about maybe 10. The next time I was out 30 days. We did maybe about 15. And then the next time I was about 21 days. I did about 15 more.
Yeah, it was chaotic. We were putting it down, and that's when everybody started writing to the Cardenales. Rene's lost his mind. He's going crazy out here. No, not at all. I was setting precedent because the organization was dormant. There was nothing happening. In the 80s, they had that Weddle Shy bust and Alfie bust, and the ones that in the late 70s that Mundo had testified in, right? That was the last big presence of the MA on the streets. When I get out in the 80s, there's nobody out there. There's nobody out there, and the Mexican Mafia has been dormant for about a decade. In fact, when I went out there and somebody, I'm doing something and asked me, who I was, I told them I was, so and so from the MA. I said, "What's this? What's that? What is that? That's a prison thing, right?" I said, "No, this is a now and here thing. I'm here right now." And I recall that. So in my head, I'm thinking, like, what kind of power is this organization? Does it have if nobody even recognizes it? But it was also at a time when it was kind of like spoken about in hushed undertones and whispers. So I got it in my head that I'm going to make the organization known. I'm going to make it so that Ramon Mendoza Mundo calls it spreading the gospel. That's what they called it back then, right? I was just putting it down. I was just out there terrorizing. And a lot of people wrote to the cardenales that they knew or they were friends with, or they sent a package once in a while. Hey, he's over here. Please tell him not to mess with me. And brothers would tell me that, like, no. If they're here, I'm doing it. I am doing it. And I don't care that they send you $50 10 years ago. I'm doing it. And I did it. And I told the brothers that specifically. Before I left the prison, when I parole, I'm going to take over this area. And that's exactly what I did.
So it's like an everyday thing.
Now, is this where your reputation starts to build then?
Yeah, well, they know I'm going to put in work. I'll
Yeah.
go do things. And shortly thereafter, we did these robberies. I get another violation, and I do a short. I think it's like a few months, and I get out. But on the previous release, I get a call from Benny Peters about some murders. They tell me about David Gallegos, and that's where we got the orders. We're at Sleepy Aragon. Jesse Aragon? Sleepy.
That was my commitment offense, the elimination of David Gallegos, Pelon from Maravilla. It's gonna explain right here how it came about.
Targeted him in the first indictments.
Yeah.
He was going to get killed. We're at his house, and Benny calls us up for the murders. And he tells me, "Hey, can you get this taken care of?" I says, "Yeah, I'll handle it." I get violated, unfortunately. I don't get to kill the guy.
Did he say why, or did...
We knew he was a no account. This guy was a no account. It was contrary to your belief in the story. This guy was a no account. What really happened was he went to a location with Chuco Castro and Perico Ochoa in Maravilla, and while they were approaching the house, I think they were going to tax a connection.
No, they approached the Cardinal Huito, Wito. Huito was a dropout from the organization, and Huito pulled out a gun. Chuco and Perico stood right there and stared him down, but David took off running. Pelon, the guy that I was convicted for eliminating, took off running. So they're showing a cowardice.
While they're approaching the house, the owner's up on the top of the stairs. A lot of the houses in East LA have high staircases. While they're traversing the stairs going towards the top, the individual comes out of the house with a gun. David Pelon runs and shows cowardice. He runs and abandons them. On the first occasion, this is what occurred. On another occasion, there's an ex-member in his neighborhood, because Gallegos was from Maravilla. There's an ex-member named Huito from Maravilla who caught David in his own neighborhood and ran him out of his neighborhood with a gun.
Huito Marquez.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm mixing up the two incidents. So there were two incidents. Been a long time, folks. Sorry about that. I'm getting old. Not getting, I am. But yeah, it was these instances that marked him for a coward. Pelon was a no account. He wasn't going to bust a grape. He may have been ferocious when he was old, but not. I mean, when he was young, but not any longer. Not when he was around the brothers, and he was showing it to them. That was his fatal flaw. They saw that he was scared, and that he abandoned them, and that he will run, and that's what brought about his demise.
So those two instances established his cowardice, and he was marked from that point on to die. So it was just a matter of finding the guy. And lo and behold, one day we're at a connections house, Topper from White Fence. We're running that house. This is our drug house we deal out of. He comes and tries to extort my guys, and I'm there. Just a fluke. He comes over, we give him a hot shot, we take him for a ride, put 6 holes in his hat, and he was done. He landed in our lap. He came over.
Did you see the arrogance and lack of empathy that I explained that with? I just saw that right now. I saw that in myself right now, and it's sobering to think that I was that cold, and that I mean, look at the freeze frame right there. Look at the face. No empathy, no emotion. Dead catfish face or shark eyes, right? Uh, yeah, it just shocked me right now when I saw that. When I listened to it, it just struck me hard. And I'm glad I am not that person anymore.
Trying to extort my dealers. And they come to the back room and they say, Rene, there's a guy over here who says he's a carnal. I said, what's his name? He says, Pelon. I says, bring him in. You know? And we woo him. I say, hey, you want a shot, brother? How you doing? We start talking politics, start talking shop. And I slide over to Jack. I says, fix him up a good one. You know, let's incapacitate this guy right now. He's not going to leave today. The person that brought him knew we were going to kill him. Just he sensed the vibe. He picked up. He was scared. I could tell. I just told him, just go home. Everything's going to be all right. Just go home. You have nothing to do with this. And he was scared. He says, no. Just don't hurt him. Please don't hurt him. And you could tell. I felt compassion for this individual. He was just a square Joe. He was just along to give the guy a ride to get some dope or something. He wasn't
Connect
nobody.
up probably for a piece.
I remember the guy specifically. I forgot his name. He made a statement against me. I never pushed an issue on him. Ever. We had his address, everything, right? And I never pushed an issue on him. He was just a regular guy. You know, and in that process, we're going to whack out David. We're going to do it right there if we have to, right in front of everybody. It's going to be done right then that day. And this guy had given David Pelon Gallegos, Gallegos, a ride to this place. Like, David would go around muscling people for dimes of dope. Like, give me dope, I'm a carnal. And that was his hustle, right? Because he was another bum dope fiend, right? Not that we're above that. I'm not invoking moral superiority, because I was a dope fiend too. So he did it to our house, right? And we were already looking for him. I already got the word that he's on the lista, and I'm supposed to take care of it. I agreed to do it. And here he falls into my lap. But this guy, you could see it in his face, like he's concerned that we're going to hurt David. I think he just knew instinctively that we were evil men and that David was not going to leave. And he told me that. He said, don't hurt him. I said, look, just leave. Just leave. You don't belong here. And we let him go. I mean, literally, he shouldn't have left. And I don't know if he's alive today, but I felt his goodness that day, right? He was there to do dope too, so I'm not saying he was a bad man. He had a substance abuse problem. Or maybe he was just giving David a ride. I don't know. But God was with him that day. I'll tell you that, because literally we should not have let him go, and we did.
Probably a little cotton or something like that. He was just going to slam with the guy, but he was deathly afraid. He knew, I guess he sensed the evil that was emanating from us. And he knew, and I just told him, just leave. You better go home now. And he knew. He left.
Rene, when you were doing all this, did you ever become the target of SSU?
One time. On the night of the murder of, I think it was David Gallegos, John Roper was surveilling my house.
Exactly. Yeah.
John Roper was surveilling my house, and we're out here packing automatic weapons, and SSU surveilling us, and I'm telling everybody, SSU is on us. Say, oh, you're paranoid, man. You're too high on that stuff. And I'm telling you, SSU is on us. I'm telling you. We've done too much for these guys not to be on us. Feds or somebody's on us. Lo and behold, Roper was on us. Roper and I think some of the other guys that were working with him were on us.
Connor
and some of those other guys.
Brian Perry was one of them. Brian Perry and John Roper were surveilling me, right? I was high control parole. And SSU, for you guys don't know what it is they're like these mythical figures in the mob, right? They're called Special Services Unit. They're special agents appointed by the governor's office. And there's only about 40 of them in the state of California, right? Very elite group. But they work with the feds and all this stuff, right? They work with all these different agencies. And they go after parolees. And they're not parole agents. They're special agents. Those are the guys that'll put you down, right? They have a long history of putting people down. And I remember I say, man, SSU's on us. And they say, oh, you're tripping, you're paranoid. you're doing too much coke or whatever. You know, you're high. You don't know what you're talking about. You're too loaded on heroin. You can't even talk right, right? But I knew it instinctively. I knew somebody is on us. I mean, we're leaving bodies, and we're just like a tornado. We're tearing through cities and just leaving this path of destruction. Literally, robbery victims, assault victims, extortion victims, and bodies everywhere.
I met Roper personally when they cracked me that for my murders. He came into the station and says, "I'm John Roper," and he starts telling me, "Who sanctioned the murder? Who sanctioned the murder? Why did you kill that guy?" And I said, "What turnip truck did you fall off? You think I'm just going to talk to you about this?" You know, I just that's the only SSU guy I'd ever met, ever. I had heard so much about these guys. These guys are almost. So some of the things I'm saying are corroborating other things,
just
and
fitting
you know.
perfect. Yeah.
So the guy John Roper, I remember that he came in there like aggressive on me, like he were trying to raw jaw me. And I just looked at him. He gave me an Alpine. He was smoking Alpine cigarettes, and I was already feeling the illnesses of withdrawing, right? Because they woke me up in the morning. I hadn't used that morning, so you know anything about addiction, you have to use as soon as you get up. I didn't get that chance. I went straight to jail. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. They caught me at my mom's house and took me to jail, and I remember he was sitting there and he brought a candy bar and a soda and I knocked those down. And then he gave me a cigarette, which was an Alpine, some kind of menthol cigarette, and a nasty cigarette. But I needed the cigarette, and I smoked it.
Yeah. Well, then, so how long are you out this time before you go back for good?
20 days.
20 days.
20 days. Yeah.
And this is when you kill.
David Gallegos. David Gallegos and Cynthia Galvadon.
And how does she get killed?
She gets killed because she's stealing. She's stealing. She's skimming money from us. We have her holding drugs and dealing drugs, and she's skimming from us. And she's running around using Spider's name. She's Spider Galvadon's sister-in-law.
This is a Cynthia that David Galvadon was talking about in the visit we did the other day. And he says that he knew for a fact that I had nothing to do with it, but like I said, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And I'm not bragging about that at all, really not. And my sincere apologies to the families that were impacted by this, because I'm certain that somebody in the family will see it, and it's something I can't undo. I cannot undo it. But this is what we're talking about right here.
Spider Galvadon is a Mexican Mafia member from Cantaranas. But she was being passed around among the crew. I mean, you know, it's just a party girl, I guess, is a nice way to put it. And we seen the potential that she could deal because she knew everybody. We had Topper's house already. We had already made that our own. A couple other places we were dealing from. People were going out to locations and dealing for us. So we had her holding drugs, and she started skimming dope, taking money. And it was really a minute amount. I think it was like 2 8 balls. And retrospect, and I say, we could have did this differently with this person. Just such a minute amount, such a minor offense to kill somebody.
Yeah, it really was I mean, in retrospect, you look at it, what I should have done was probably to get out of here. You know, you got to pass because you're David's sister-in-law. You know, you're Big Spider's sister-in-law. I didn't care about Roy. Roy has been of no account, is always going to be of no account. Like I said, he's an albatross around his brother's neck. He's a dope fiend. He's locked up in Victorville. He's locked up in other places. He's been stabbed. He's the source of controversy for David, really. So I didn't really care about that guy. It was David that was my friend, you know. And I knew it was going to impact him. He was going to feel. I guess the phrase is he's going to feel some type of way, right? I never used that phrase, but he was going to feel something about this, and I just look at it. I mean, there was a narrative out there created by the family of the victim that she was killed for $10. But that's not true at all. That's not true. But I get it. I mean, the family was opposing my parole, and I understand that. They're going to say whatever they have to say to stop me from paroling, and I understood that as well. I truly did. You know, I truly did.
Well, but we just didn't have to kill her. I just don't think it was a killing offense.
Well, don't you think also?
Well, that'll do it, folks. That's the end of that video. Happened sooner than I expected. And I love these videos because, I mean, it evokes so many memories. And we get so much stuff in here that I haven't thought about this in years, some of this stuff. So, man, I really hope you like this episode. As always, appreciate your participation in the channel. It's your guys' channel. You guys built it up, man. We're almost 45,000 strong now in subscribers, and we got a bunch of members, and all you guys have done everything to build this channel. It's not me that's doing it. It's you guys that are doing it, and I appreciate every one of you. Every one of you. That's why I try to take time to respond to comments. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of them, though, so I can't do all of them. So I just pick random ones, and some of the most frequent commenters, I always tell them a Q or a hello, good morning, or I try to get back to you guys. I try to interact with you guys on a basis where no other content creator does. I don't want to be like other channels. I don't want to be like that. I mean, I want this to be a unique channel that puts out authenticity, and I think by far we've established that credibility with the community, you guys, right? With that said, I'm going to wish you a good day, and another episode will be coming soon. We got a bunch of these videos coming, and we got a bunch of other stuff. Pretty soon, you know who's coming? Can you guess who's coming? Not Santa Claus. Periquito, periquito. Yeah, he's coming. He's coming soon. All right. Peace out, folks. Stay safe.
This is Rene Enriquez. Nickname Boots.